Drive past any used lot in this country, and the cars that will outlive everything else on the property are the ones parked in the back. Dusty, marked down twice, nobody has asked about them in a month. Out front, under the balloon, somebody is signing for a $40,000 crossover with a 3-year warranty and a turbocharger that will need a timing chain before that warranty is even cold. Today I want to introduce you to 12 cars going the other direction. Cheap, ignored, several of them under $5,000, and every one of them built simple enough to still be running long after that new crossover is scrap metal. The car at number 1 is the one I would buy my own parents tomorrow, so stay with me to the end for that. Let's get into it. Before the first car, here is the bar each of these had to clear because I did not pick 12 names out of a hat. 1, it had to be genuinely cheap right now. Today, not cheap in theory. Most of these sit under $8,000 and several under $5,000. 2, it had to run on a proven engine with a long, boring track record. No turbo living on borrowed time, no direct injection caking up with carbon, no automatic famous for grenading itself. 3, the parts have to be cheap and already sitting on the shelf at every counter in town. And 4, and this is the one that actually matters, it had to be a car people overlook. A dead brand, a rental fleet car, a rebadge, a shape nobody photographs, because that and nothing under the hood is the only reason these are cheap. If that is the kind of thing you want more of, the cars the salesman quietly steers you away from, do yourself a favor and subscribe, because this whole channel exists to even that fight up. Now, number 12. Number 12 won North American Car of the Year, and you would never guess it from what it costs. Now, the Chevrolet Malibu from 2008 to 2012 is the car that dragged Chevy's midsize reputation up out of the ditch. Car and Driver put it on their 10 best list, and J.D. Power handed the 2012 car a quality score of 89 out of 100, which is territory Toyota usually keeps to itself. Today, a clean one runs somewhere between $4,000 and $8,000, and most people have completely forgotten it exists. Here's what to actually do with that. Buy the 2009 or newer, because the very first 2008 cars came with a dated 4-speed automatic and a few more gremlins than the 6-speed cars that followed. The 3.6-liter V6 has the stronger long-haul record, but a well-kept 2.4-liter 4 is honest transportation. And skip the 2013 entirely. It was a 1-year oddball built in the gap between 2 generations, and it collected the complaints to prove it. A forgotten award winner for Corolla money. Not a bad way to open. Number 11 is really an engine wearing a car, the Ford Taurus, and its identical twin, the Mercury Sable, with the 3.0-liter Vulcan V6 is about as unglamorous as a driveway gets. And that is precisely the point. This is a cast iron push rod 6 that Ford built from the mid-80s, clear through 2007 with barely a change, because it did not need one. It makes no power worth bragging about, around 155 horses, and it will not thrill a soul. It will, however, cross 200,000 miles, the way most engines cross the street. Owners routinely report 250, 260, and I have read credible ones well past 300,000. The catch, and every honest list has one, is not the engine. It is the 4-speed automatic bolted behind it, which is the part that gives up if nobody ever changed the fluid. So here's a free tip worth more than the car. On any Vulcan Taurus, change that transmission fluid and filter every 30,000 miles. And if the seller cannot tell you when it was last done, plan to do it the week you get it home. Do that, and a $2,000 car quietly becomes a decade of driving. Ignore it, and you will replace a transmission on a car that costs less than the transmission. That right there, knowing which fluid actually matters and which repair is invented, is the difference between a car that dies at 90,000 and one that sees 500,000. It is why I keep pointing people to the 500,000 miles car care Bible, 205 pages, 101 habits. For a video like this one, open it to the 20-point used car inspection checklist so you buy the good copy and not the money pit, plus a decoder for the 30 upsell shops try on you, with the exact words to say back, $27, which is less than a shop charges, just a glance at the car. The code is on the screen, the link is in the description, or go straight to carcarebible.com. Back to it. Number 10 is a Toyota that most people flatly refuse to believe is a Toyota. The Pontiac Vibe and the Toyota Matrix are the same car. Same assembly line, same Toyota, 1.8 liter engine, same guts, built back when General Motors and Toyota still shared a factory. The only real difference is the badge on the nose, and because the badge says Pontiac, and Pontiac is dead, the Vibe sells for less than the identical Matrix parked right beside it. A clean one is a $4,000 car that will see 200,000 miles on nothing but oil changes. 2 rules, and it is bulletproof. Stick to the 1.8 liter and avoid the hotter GT version and its high-strung engine, which had an oil starvation habit that ended a lot of them early. And check that the old stalling recall from the 2005 through 2008 cars was handled, which takes one phone call with the vehicle identification number. Do that, and you have a Toyota Corolla in a cargo hauling body wearing a dead man's badge for thousands less than the Toyota. If your pride can survive the Pontiac logo, your wallet will thank you for the rest of the decade. Number 9 runs on the same trick. When Ford put Mercury to bed in 2011, it did not make the cars any worse. It just erased the badge, and the badge is what you pay for. The Mercury Milan is a Ford Fusion in a slightly nicer suit, and the last of them, the 2010 and 2011 cars with the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder and the 6-speed automatic, are a quietly excellent used sedan that almost nobody cross shops. That 4-cylinder is a simple port-injected engine that asks for very little, and the whole car shares its bones with the last Mazda, which was no slouch either. Owners rate them well past 90% would buy again. One housekeeping item. There was a recall covering a valve concern across roughly 600,000 Fusions, Milans, and Lincolns of this era, so confirm the work is documented before you buy, the same as you would on any of these. Expect to pay between about $3,000 and $8,000 and expect the Mercury to undercut the identical Ford by a few hundred for no reason except a dead nameplate. Buy the 4-cylinder. It is the sweet spot of the whole family. Enough car, none of the complications. Notice the pattern starting to form. Every one of these is cheap for a reason that has nothing to do with the engine. Number 8 is the purest example of it. The Chevrolet Impala from about 2006 to 2013 is cheap because of who bought it new. In 2011 alone, roughly 73% of Impalas went to fleets. Rental counters, government motor pools, sales fleets, and a car with the word rental in its history scares retail buyers right off. Here's the part they have wrong. The engines in these, the 3.5 and 3.9 liter 6s and the 3.6 that arrived in 2012, are old school, understressed, and cheap to keep, and Repair Pal ranks the thing near the top of its whole full-size class. That fleet reputation has already crushed the price for you. A 2013 sits around $6,500 and has basically stopped depreciating, which means whatever you pay, you can drive it 2 years and sell it for close to the same number. It seats a full bench and 6 people. The trunk swallows a month of groceries, and the parts are at every counter in America. If a former rental in the history bother you, remember, it also means fleet scheduled oil changes its entire life. This is the most car for the least money, with the fewest surprises on the whole list. The badge on it just happens to be one nobody brags about. Quick one while we are here. If you are getting something out of this, the subscribe button costs you nothing and tells me to keep making the videos the dealership would rather I didn't. Number 7. Number 7 is built around what might be the single most durable engine General Motors ever made, and I do not say that loosely. The Buick LeSabre and its fancier cousin, the Park Avenue, from the late 90s through about 2005, ran the Buick 3800. That is a naturally aspirated V6 that good mechanics still hunt down on purpose. Let me tell you why it lasts, because it explains half this list. A modern turbo engine makes big power out of a small motor by living under constant heat and pressure, burning and injecting fuel in ways that leave deposits and stress every part. The 3800 does the exact opposite. Low pressure, low stress, a simple design, breathing easy, doing far less work to move the same car. An engine that is barely trying at 70 miles an hour is an engine that is still running at 250,000 miles. That is the whole secret. And it is why the boring engines outlive the exciting ones every single time. These Buicks are the couch that happens to have that motor under the hood. A front bench, a trunk you could sleep in, a ride that floats the road right out from under you. A clean LeSabre averages under $6,000, and a Park Avenue can be found for even less. The one thing to check is a pair of plastic coolant elbows tucked behind the alternator that go brittle with age and weep coolant. It is a cheap part, and the aftermarket sells a metal version that ends the problem for good. Fix that, keep the oil clean, and this is a 250,000-mile car for the price of a good used riding mower. If your knees are tired of climbing down out of tall trucks, this is the one to go sit in first. Number 6 is where that same engine grew up and put on a tie. When Buick killed the LeSabre and the Park Avenue, it folded them both into the Lucerne from 2006 to 2011. Same plush idea, quieter cabin, and for a few good years, you could still get that bulletproof 3800 family V6 under the hood. That is the one to buy, and I want to be specific about why. Buick also offered a North Star V8 in the top trim, and that engine, for all its power, has a history of head gasket repair that can cost more than the whole car is worth. So the verdict writes itself. Get the V6, walk right past the V8, and you have a genuine Cadillac grade living room, heated and cooled seats, a ride like a boat on calm water for somewhere between about $3,000 and $8,000. One specific thing to inspect: some Lucernes came with a self-leveling air suspension in the rear that gets expensive as it ages, and a lot of them have already been converted to normal shocks, which is honestly the better setup for a car you intend to keep a long time. A quiet, heavy, comfortable American sedan that most shoppers drive straight past because the name does not excite them. Their loss is a very soft 1,000-mile road trip for you. Number 5 comes with an instruction most people get exactly backwards. On the 2003 to 2007 Honda Accord, do not buy the V6. Buy the 4-cylinder. I know that sounds wrong. The V6 has more power. It sounds like the better car. car, but that generation's V6 automatic is the one with a documented transmission failure problem, expensive and repeating, while the 2.4-liter four-cylinder sitting right next to it is one of the most stubbornly reliable engines Honda has ever shipped. I have seen owner records on these fours that read like typos. One man posting his 2004 at over 800,000 miles on basic maintenance, while his own V6 in the same driveway ate its second transmission before 80,000. Consumer Reports rated the four-cylinder cars above average, and the numbers back the stories. The four asks for one thing as it climbs into high mileage. It can start using a little oil, so you check the dipstick and top it off, rather than letting it run low, because running it low is what kills them, not the miles. That is the entire maintenance philosophy on the thing. A clean four-cylinder Accord from these years is a $5,000 to $8,000 car that, treated right, has more life left in it than most of what is sitting on a new car lot. Same badge, same body, half the trouble. You just have to want the engine nobody brags about, which, if you have been paying attention, is the theme of this entire video. Number 4 is how you buy a Lexus without paying for one. The Lexus ES from roughly 2004 to 2012 is mechanically a Toyota Camry that went off to finishing school. The same proven Toyota engineering underneath, wrapped in a quieter, softer, better built body. And because it is an older luxury car and people are scared that older luxury means expensive, it sells for Camry money or less. The 2005 car earned a perfect reliability mark from more than one source, and owners recommend it at around 97%. A clean one averages around $6,000 to $7,000 with tidy, higher mileage examples under that. Here is the fear I want you to let go of. On a German luxury car from this era, age genuinely does mean money. The repairs get exotic and the bills get frightening. On this one, it does not, because underneath the leather, it is the same Toyota V6 and Toyota automatic that the mechanic down the street has fixed 1,000 times, with parts that cost Toyota money, not Lexus money. That is the trick the badge hides. You are getting the silence and the seats of a luxury car and the repair bill of a Camry. For somebody who wants their next few cars to feel like something and still never strand them, this is a very easy car to recommend. Quiet, plush, and boring in the very best sense of the word. Number 3 spent its entire life proving the point of this video, and almost nobody noticed. Picture the last time a car service picked you up for an airport run or a funeral. Long black sedan, doors that shut like a bank vault, a back seat like somebody's front parlor. That was almost certainly a Lincoln Town car, and the reason the limousine companies ran them into the ground and then bought more of them is the reason you should want one. It is a Panther platform car, a real steel frame under the body, a 4.6-liter V8 that turns over slowly and lasts nearly forever, rear-wheel drive, and a design Ford quietly refined year after year from 1998 to 2011 without ever chasing fashion. Repair Pal scores it 4 out of 5 and ranks it 2nd out of 30 in its class. It routinely sails past 250,000 miles, and I have read an owner past 470,000 on the original engine, still going. And it barely depreciates anymore, around 8% over 5 years, because it already fell as far as it is ever going to fall. What does all of that cost you today? Around $6,500 to $8,000 for a clean one. And the best years are the 2003 to 2007 cars, before some late run build changes. Two honest cautions: it drinks fuel. Figure 17, 18 miles a gallon, and at today's $4.10 a gallon, that appetite is the real price of the V8. And make sure the old speed control switch recall that hit a lot of these Fords was completed, which is one phone call with the number to settle. Do that, and you are riding in a car that costs less than the down payment on that new crossover out front and will outlast most of the new metal on your street. That is not a sales line. That is just the math. Number two is the last honest, full-size American car, and they built it to survive people who actively try to destroy cars. The Ford Crown Victoria and its twin, the Mercury Grand Marquis, were the police cruiser and the taxi for an entire generation, and there is a reason every department and every cab company ran them. A body-on-frame steel structure, that same slow-turning 4.6-liter V8 rear-wheel drive, and a mechanical simplicity that means a part which fails is a cheap part any shop can replace. Cab fleets took these past 400,000 and even 600,000 miles on strict maintenance. Sit with what that means for a car. You would drive 15,000 miles a year. You would have to own it for 25 years to wear it out. Today, the average sits around $7,000 or $8,000 in a clean private owner Grand Marquis, the kind the retired couple drove to church and back, can be found for less and is often the cheapest way into the whole platform. Now, the fair confessions, because a list that only praises is a sales pitch. It drinks just like the town car. 14 miles a gallon is normal, and gas is not cheap right now. The V8 in the older ones is known for occasionally spitting a spark plug or fighting you when it is finally time to change them. So on any of these, ask when the plugs were last done and by whom. And the same speed control recall applies, so confirm it was handled. None of that changes the verdict. If you want one car that will start every single morning in any weather, carry 5 people in real comfort, and very likely outlast your interest in ever car shopping again, the Grand Marquis is the most car for the dollar tank on this entire list. The only thing keeping it cheap is that it is not fashionable, and fashion is a strange thing to pay for in a car you plan to keep. And number one is the car I meant it about, the one I would put my own parents in tomorrow, and the one I would buy for myself if I wanted to stop thinking about cars for the next 15 years. The Toyota Avalon, the 2005 to 2012 generation, is the best kept secret on the American used market, and it is a secret only because it is so quiet about it. Here is what it actually is: Toyota's flagship sedan of its day, a car that reviewers themselves have started calling the reliability hero nobody talks about. Under the hood, the 3.5-liter Toyota V6, the same smooth, port-injected engine Toyota and Lexus bolted into everything they wanted to last, an engine people have driven well past 300,000 miles. Inside it is enormous, soft, and silent, with a back seat your grandchildren can stretch out in, and a trunk that ends the argument about who packed too much. Owners rate this generation 4.7 out of 5, and 93% say they would buy another one. Now, the part that should bother the industry: the average person who bought one of these new was in their early 60s. That tells you these cars were driven gently, garaged, and maintained, and it is exactly why the used ones are so good. But it also means the badge on the trunk says Avalon, not Lexus, so the machine never got the respect it earned. You can buy a solid one right now for around $7,000 to $8,000. A higher mileage runner starts near $3,000. Even a low mileage cream puff under 100,000 miles rarely breaks 10. Put the numbers down for 1 second and just think about the thing itself. This is a car with the ride and the hush of a Lexus, the durability of a Camry, more room than either one, sitting on a lot for the price of a used compact, purely because it is not exciting. It was never supposed to be exciting. It was supposed to carry you in silence for 200,000 miles and never once embarrass you at a repair counter, and that is precisely what it does. Two small things to check and you are finished. Some early cars used a rubber oil line to the V6 that can weep with age, cheap to replace. With the updated part, worth confirming it was done. And some of these had a dashboard that gets sticky or shiny in brutal sun. Cosmetic, not mechanical, but worth $100 swing on the price. That is the entire list of complaints. If you remember one car from this whole video, remember this one. When somebody asks me what to buy with $8,000 and a plan to keep it, this is my answer before they finish the question. Step back and look at what these 12 have in common, because that is the whole point. Not one of them is cheap because it is a bad car. Every single one is cheap for a reason that lives entirely on the outside. A dead brand, a rental history, a shape nobody photographs, a name that does not turn a head in the driveway. The market prices cars on image. It does not price them on how long they run, which means the moment you stop paying for image, you get the durability for free. The people out front fighting over the shiny new metal are paying a premium to be seen. You can pay a fraction of it to simply arrive every morning for the next 15 years. Now the honest edges, because you have earned them. Any car this old is only as good as the specific copy in front of you and the life it lived. A neglected example of the best car here is worse than a cared for example of the worst. Buy the maintenance history, not the model name. And several of these V8s will cost you at the pump roughly what they save you at the dealer. So if you drive big miles every year, lean toward the 4 cylinders. So here's the one thing to do this week. Pick 2 of these off the list, pull up your local listings and sort them by price, not by year, not by miles, by price. Then just watch how far under the new car number these land. It will reframe how you think about your next car in about 10 minutes flat. Then tell me down in the comments, which of these has been in your driveway? How many miles did you put on it? And what finally made you sell it? If anything ever did. I read those and they are better data than any survey. And if you do go find one, do not hand over a single dollar before you run it through the 20-point used car inspection in the 500,000 miles car care Bible. It is at carcarebible.com. Link in the description. It is the cheapest insurance you will ever buy on a used car. Subscribe if you want the next one, because I am putting together the flip side of this list. The cars people pay a fortune for used, convinced they are bulletproof, that quietly turn into the most expensive mistake in the driveway. You are going to want to know if yours is on it. Drive safe and take care of the car you have. It will take care of you.